Okay, I think a lot of you had questions about the assignment yesterday, so let's look at this and talk a little bit about it, and then today you'll try another one like this. This table is called a two-way frequency table. Notice the word two. It's called two because when you have a table like this, it tells us two things. Notice along the top we see likes football, and then notice on the side we see likes basketball. So this information tells us about people, about whether or not they liked football or whether or not they said they liked basketball. Okay, an important thing to notice, this number right here always represents the grand total, and we talked about this before. Alright, so just by looking at this 99 right here, we know that there were a total of 99 people who were surveyed, and they were asked whether they like football and whether they like basketball. So for the likes football, this right here, one second, this yes and this no gives us information about what their answer was for liking football. So looking at this column right here, what do we know? We know that this 42 represents yes for football. We notice that this 14 also represents yes for football. And then this number right here, 56, represents the total number of people who answered yes that they like football. Right? And then for the no, well, this 17 tells us no, those people didn't like football. Also, this 26 represents 26 people who did not like football. And then this 43 is the total for this column. So just by looking at this 43, we know that there were 43 people who did not like football. And we know there were 56 who said yes, they did like football. And what do you notice? If you add the 56 and the 43, it gives you 99. So that represents all 99 students. So we know of those 99 students, 56 said yes, they like football, and 43 said no, they don't like football. Well, the question is, what's the difference between these 42 who said yes and these 14 who said yes? Well, that's where the other variable comes into play, right? So let's look at this now. So now think about basketball. This yes represents the people who said yes, they like basketball. This no represents the people who said no, they don't like basketball. So going across the row, this 42 represents 42 people who said yes, they like basketball. Now this 17 represents 17 more people who said yes, they like basketball. And this 59 represents the total number of students who said they like basketball. So we know there were 59 total students who said yes, they like basketball. Alright, well now look at the no. How many said no, they don't like basketball? This 14 is part of the no row, so 14 did not like basketball. Well, look here. Here are 26 more who said no, they don't like football. When you add 14 and 26, you see that you've got a total of 40 people who said no, they don't like basketball. So this 59 and this 50 and 40, when you put 59 and 40 together, you get 99. So this tells us 59 people said yes, they like basketball. 40 people said no, they don't like basketball. Alright? Well, each of these numbers inside the table tell us two things. They tell us about whether or not they liked basketball, and it also tells us, did they like football? So before we look at the questions, just look at this number right here. What does that 17 represent? That 17, you always want to think, alright, what does it tell us about football? And what does it tell us about basketball? Well, the football, 17 is part of the no for football. So that tells us, all right, these 17 people did not like football, but notice 17 is also part of the yes row for basketball. So the two things that we know about these 17 people are that they said no for football and they said yes for basketball. All right. Well, what about these 14 people? What two things do we know about these 14 people? What do we know about football? Well, these 14, notice they are part of the yes column for football. So we know these 14 people, yes, they do like football, but what do we know about them for basketball? Well, they are part of the no row for basketball. So these 14 people, yes, they like football, no, they don't like basketball. So these numbers right here, the 42 people, the 14, the 17, and the 26, we know two things about each of these. No, these don't like football. Yes, these do like football. And if you look at it this way, yes, these like basketball, and no, they don't like basketball. So when we're answering these questions, those are the things that we want to keep in mind. So let's look at these questions that you answered and see if it makes sense. Alright, so the first question says, what is the total number of students who like football? Well, all I need to worry about are the columns, because our likes football title is up here at the top. So that means I want to think about either this column or this column. Well, if they like football, that means they answered yes to the question. So we are interested in the yes column. Well, do I want to say 42? Is that the total? Do I want to say 14? Is that the total? No. Right here, the 56 represents the total number who said yes, they like football. It's not asking about basketball, so we don't care about whether or not they like basketball. All we care about is the total number who said yes for football. So we would say that the answer for number 1 is 56. Well, now look at number 2. Number 2 says, what's the total number of students who do not like football? Do not like football. So again, we don't care about the basketball. All we care about is what their answer was to the football question. Do not like football, that means we want to know about the people who said no for football. Well, I don't want just a 17. I don't want just a 26. I want the total number. So the total number who said no, they don't like football is 43. That's the answer to the second one. Alright, look at the next one. The next one is saying, what is the total number of students who like basketball? So now we want to think about who said yes to basketball. I don't care about the football. Now I need to pay attention over here to the basketball. The yes for basketball is going to be these numbers here. So those 42 said yes. These 17 also said yes, but I want the total number, so the total number who said yes to basketball would be 59. So that's your answer for number 3. Right? Look at number 4. It says the total number of students who do not like basketball. We don't care about football. All we care about are the no's, those who answered no to basketball. Is it 14? No, there are others. Is it 26? No, we want to know the total. So the total number who said no to basketball is 40. So number 4 has an answer of 40. Look at 5. This is saying true or false. It says the 42, well, where's the 42? The 42 is right here. Well, ignore the question for a second. Just look at this 42. What are the two things we know about the 42? 42 is part of yes. So we know that these 42 people said yes, they like football, but also this 42 looking at the row is yes for basketball. So we know this 42 tells us 42 people said yes, they like both football and basketball. Well, does that match this? It says the 42 students, 42 represents students who do like football and do like basketball. Yes, that's exactly what we just said. So number 5 would be true. Alright? What about number 6? Look at 6. What does it say? It says true or false. The 17 represents students who do not like football and do not like basketball. So that means it's got to be a no for both. So where's the 17? The 17 is right here. Well, 17 is part of the no for football, so that matches it. But look at this. 17 is part of the yes row for basketball. So this 17 does not represent students who do not like football and do not like basketball. So that would be false. What is this 17? This 17 would be 17 students do not like football, but they do like basketball. So that's why 6 is false. Look at 7. It says how many students like football and do not like basketball. So those are the two variables that we're looking for. A lot of you yesterday, you gave 2 different numbers, but this should just be one of these numbers in the box. So, like football. Think about where are all the people who like football. That would be right here. Right? So we know it's got to be one of these numbers because we're looking for students that like football. So it's got to be 42 or 14. Well, what's the difference between these 42 and 14? That comes into the other part where it says do not like basketball. Well, do not like basketball is this row right here. So if we want to know how many students do not like football and who do like football and do not like basketball, that means they've got to be part of this oval and also part of this oval. Hopefully you agree that that 14 right there represents 14 students who do like football and do not like basketball. So your answer is 14. Right? And then look at the last one. The last one is saying how many students do not like football and also do not like basketball. So that's got to be one of these numbers that's part of both not like football and not like basketball. So for not like football, what should I be thinking about? I should be thinking about these numbers here because these are all numbers representing students who do not like football. But I also need that number to be part of do not like basketball. Well, where's the do not like basketball? Do not like basketball is this number right here. So I'm looking for the number in this table that is part of this column and also, part of this row and part of this column. That 26 right there is part of both. So the number of students who do not like football and do not like basketball would be 26. So hopefully this makes it a little bit more clear, and the assignment you have today is going to be another table with similar questions. So let me know if you have any questions, all right?